When it comes to the trajectory of NewJeans' career, I think the biggest disappointment for me is the likelihood that we're not going to see their original vision mature with grace. Min Hee-jen was definitely going to infantilize them for as long as she could, but because NewJeans and Min Hee-jen have put such a large bump in their careers, that was steadily going uphill now. I might not get to see how the girl next door trope can be matured as the members themselves age. Lord knows how Adore is going to manage their image when all this is over. Adore can certainly try to move forward with NewJeans' original concept and narrative. Plenty of people will eat it up, but it'll be far less believable. Now that they have the mean girl labeling attached to their image, due to painting La Seraphim and Eyelet. Other girl groups, out to be competition and cheap imitations of them who steal their opportunities rather than their friends and label mates. Victims of the same corporate system they claim to hate. I didn't even really like their concept, but I understood its place. It wasn't solely a girly or girl crush concept, and I understood that the girls would naturally get older. So aspects of their concept would definitely have to adapt with them. Groups typically get concepts designed to best suit them, or trainees get selected based on specific concepts companies want to produce. What I don't like about the K-pop industry, or any industry that debuts girl groups, is directors like Min Hee-jen would have never given NewJeans their relatable and digestible concept if they had debuted at the age of 20 and older. And this is irritating to me as someone in their early 20s, because the transition from girlhood to womanhood is not some light switch thing that people who uphold ageism think it is. The brain isn't even fully developed until you're 26 at least. Ageism doesn't make sense to me because logically, from 18 to 30, you've still lived most of your life as a child rather than an adult. You're not just gonna all of a sudden be the wisest or most sensible version of yourself. You're just forced into this new realm of maturity that no one is ever truly prepared for. But everyone expects you to understand. And this range of life is rarely depicted in girl group concepts, unlike boy groups. The older I get, the less I understand ageism, especially from people younger than me. I got called a hag once. Not a wrinkle or gray hair to my name. This point in life that everyone described was false. I don't understand why our teenage years are viewed as prime when I look back at myself during that time and the mistakes I made and how much I didn't understand about myself and about other people. There's no way that's our prime. Maybe it's because I was raised in a matriarchal family where the women led. And the smartest, most beautiful, and empowering people around me at all times were always women, 5 to 50 years older than me. Maybe it's because I don't have a lot of life experience and don't have a lot of regrets built up. But the obsession with adolescence in the media, especially the obsession with youth, in women to the degree of infantilization, is an obsession I'm having a hard time relating to. When it comes to girl groups, it seems like it's never about young women figuring it out. It's always either a girly concept catering to teens or a mature concept for people of age. And if girls who are 20 and older do entertain these relatable or coming-of-age concepts, it's only temporary. aespa did it a couple of times with Spicy and Welcome to My World. ITZY did it recently in their Girls Will Be Girls trailer, and it was amazing, but like I said, that was temporary. It's not even those groups' actual concepts. ITZY didn't even stick to that relatable theme in the actual Girls Will Be Girls music video. They were in a war zone. Not even Cat's Eye or Flow, global groups, were allowed to fully develop off the concept they were given at first and jumped straight into something way more mature. Flow went from cute and a little sassy with Cardboard Box and Summertime to dark and edgy and immature. Cat's Eye went from Walking on the Beach, In My Way, to chopping each other's fingers off in Gabriella. And I don't mean there's anything wrong with their concepts inherently. I like variety, but the tone switch gave me whiplash. And when ageism affects women far more severely than men, it never seems to be a middle ground for girl groups. Women aren't allowed to just transition. I look at women I know, some of who are older than me, starting from literally 20 to 32, and it feels like they're not catered to when it comes to modern girl groups, and that's weird to me because I think it's profitable. Probably because they were given an actual option as to what songs they would sing and how they would execute their concepts, as well as their creative team also being young women their age. But the last girl group I can think of who felt like they were literally made for women in their 20s, specifically not just coincidentally, was Kiss of Life. I ate up their debut concept. It was simple. It was fun. It was refreshing to me in the way a lot of people said NewJeans were. Kiss of Life ruined their image, of course, but before that, I was a fan because they were just young women having fun. And even though they never did anything as simple as their debut concept again, I was hoping they would. The last time I watched a girl group's concept gradually mature with them from something mostly for teens to then adults was Twice. But they had a cute concept, not necessarily a girl next door type. And even if you wanted to count them, they made that transition 6 years ago. And I cannot personally recognize any other girl group of actual relevance to do so. I don't mean NewJeans' concept as it is. Exactly. I mean girl groups who are in their 20s, in comparison to teenage girl groups and just boy groups in general. Do not get digestible concepts like that. Concepts that feel like they're meant for college girls just to vibe with, instead of high school girls or women who have their lives figured out already. You're either a schoolgirl or a rich boss bitch who don't need a man. Nothing else. It feels like boy groups are allowed. This natural depth, girl groups aren't. To be seen and depicted with this growing pain stage of adulthood. Boy Next Door, Rise and Team, who are ages 18 to 27, are perfect examples of this growing pain stage that I'm talking about. They're allowed to be seen as young people with their whole life ahead of them, but not children. In my opinion, they don't have inherently mature or childlike concepts, generally speaking. I'm fine with teenagers getting into groups and living their dreams. But as someone who's no longer a teenager, but is also not in their late 20s yet, I think being considered too old to even debut in a girl group at 25 and 26 is absolutely insane. And it's rare to see women debut at that age globally, not just K-pop. And this makes no sense because it is my interpretation that people in their 20s are into boy groups and girl groups way more than any other demographic. I'm not even a fan of Blackpink. I've never been, but like with Little Mix, it is unfortunate. Watching them have so much potential and to be in high demand, but due to internal conflict and mismanagement as a group, they're fizzling out when ageism doesn't allow for girl groups to migrate into their 30s with longevity. There's not a single pop girl group with a committed fan base like BTS have who plan on staying committed to the group until the last of their days. Literally. The last girl groups to accomplish that, from my recollection, was TLC. I don't know. Maybe I didn't make any sense. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't even know if I had a fully formed thought. Tell me what you think in the comments.
Y'all, why every time I click this button it do something to me and it light my pussy up? What's that about?